Hey y'all, welcome to the REVO Church podcast. My name's Katie. I'm here with Jamie.
Hey.
I'm here with Christen.
Hello.
And we've got a great topic we're talking about today. It's about that I'm the best Catherine.
Hey.
Yay! Let's go.
We didn't invite Matthew.
Yeah, let's go.
What does that say?
Well, for all of you who are confused, I am Katie's sister.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Wait, what?
Snooze to him.
That's news to me. No, man, I'm excited. We actually are not going to debate that because we already know the answer. It's Matthew. He's not here. He can't debate it. But no, today we actually asked Christen on because she's going to be talking about our worship team. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Worship's the greatest team at REVO. I can say that.
Team.
Totally unbiased.
Totally no, separate thoughts. Like,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, of course. Nah, man, we love it. I have personally been on a journey of worship. I have been trying to join the worship team. I keep getting denied.
You're welcome.
I don't know why, but I keep attempting. Definitely don't check our Instagram later to find a video. Like, just trust me. You should tell Christen to put me on the worship team.
You're going to want to check it. It's me and Jamie's behind the scenes of the podcast rendition of All of Me by John Legend. I don't know how we started singing it, but we did. And it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Trust me. It's fantastic. But
We could be some of the best singers, I
It's
think.
special. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is a special rendition.
That's
But
just
man, I'm excited about it because worship has been, music in general has been a journey for me in the last year where I have went to almost solely worship music and just I still listen to my Christian rap. Come on now. But I've been listening to so much worship music recently. Like, I just love it. So man, this worship in general has been something that has been really big on my heart recently. So I'm excited to get to come and, talk to us about it. So tell us, like, when it comes to worship, what's kind of the mission behind the worship team?
Yeah. So before we jump in, I want to clarify that the worship team, when we talk about the worship team, we talk about our band. So the people that you're seeing on stage leading. But we also are talking about our production team. And so the production team is the magic sauce behind the scenes. Those are the people who make all the magic happen, but usually get zero recognition for it. One, they get zero recognition. And then if anything goes wrong, they're the first people that everybody turns and is like, what happened back there in the booth? So shout out to my production team people. Man, we love you guys. So yeah, that includes audio, video, lights. This is musicians. This is singers. I think a lot of times when we hear worship team, we just think of the band.
Yeah.
And at REVO, we try to be really intentional about keeping it our production team too, because we can't do what we do on stage, leading others in worship without that. So we do have a mission statement, and it's that we worship by the power of the Spirit to the glory of the Father. And so our mission statement's interesting because we did not choose, or we chose intentionally not to make it like we equip worshipers or we empower people, because we really wanted our identity as a worship team to be that we are first disciples of Jesus and we are first worshipers.
I like that.
And so in order for us to lead worship, we have to worship ourselves. And so we're just really big on the private worship of our team outside of a Sunday morning. And so if your time with Jesus is on stage on a Sunday morning, then you're not doing it right. Because when we're on stage or when we're serving, there are a million things that run through our mind. And so really the goal of our team, and before anybody joins our team, we are just super focused on what is your character like? What is your life and your walk with Jesus like? Not on a Sunday morning, because it's really easy to prepare even during the week for Sunday instead of preparing to walk with Jesus through the mountains and the valleys of life. And so that's really what our worship team is about. Now, do we lead others in worship every Sunday? Yeah, that's a high privilege that we have, is to worship the Lord and encourage others to do the same. And so while it's easy for us to think that our job may be challenging to lead others, really, that's when we're thinking about ourselves. So the goal of the worship team is point people to Jesus, reveal Jesus. That's through scripture, that's through the things that we say, and most importantly, probably, and what happens the most is the songs that we sing. So that includes like song choice, what kind of songs we're singing. But really our goal on a Sunday morning is just, get people's eyes off of the craziness of life and lift them to Jesus. And a phrase that you'll hear our people say all the time is distraction free. Like, that's why we push quality and excellence, because we don't want something in the room to take their eyes off of Jesus.
I like that. I think, at least for me, I can speak on this of being a person that's like been on stage and like, actually gave messages and preached. There's a different level of when you're on stage, you're trying to equip the people. You're leading out of the outpouring of what the Spirit has done for you in your life personally, through your prayer time, through your personal worship and prep. And so I like that you talk about that with the worship team of, hey, we don't want you to just go out there and, you're not going to be poured into. You're leading out of the outpouring of the Spirit from your own personal worship. So I like that you really made sure with your team members of like, hey, you need to be worshiping outside of just the Sunday morning. Like the Sunday morning should be the outpouring of your personal worship.
Yeah, that's super important, because I think a lot of times people think that they, when they're interested in serving with the team, their first thought goes to like their talent. And obviously that's important. We do have like a basic level of, you have to be talented. You have to have something to bring. And one of the things that's really awesome about our production team is our crew down there. It's like they train the people that are coming on. And so for production, you don't have to have any prior experience. We can train whoever, as long as you have a teachable spirit. But for every person who's joining our team, whether it's production or worship, our first question is not necessarily like, well, how long have you been doing this? On the interest form, the very first one is Jesus Christ your personal Lord and Savior? And so in agreeing to audition for the team and join the team, the process is so much more about what you're doing outside of your talent than it is just how are you growing your talent. We care about that a lot. One of the things that we talk about is the musicianship of our team, but the defining traits from the top to the back. So like from our, electric guitar players, our drummers, all the way down to like the people who live in what we call the back cave and do our online campus every Sunday, is like, we're passionate people. We're humble, and we're restrained, and we're driven. And I really love the word restrained, because the talent that you see from our production crew, the experience that they have, the things that they do, everything is so much bigger than what you see on a Sunday morning. And so the musicianship, like Jason could shred on electric on every single song. Evan on drums could just like go nuts. K. Marie can play the keys. But the decisions and everything that we make on a Sunday morning is not about what's going to draw attention to us. It's about what's going to honor the Lord and lift their eyes to Him. So it's not just, can I sing on a Sunday morning? It's, can you grow in discipleship with Jesus as well along this community and this family on the team? So
I love that. And I love how it's not solely focused on like the people up on stage, they're restrained, like, I think about some people like that can sing on stage and they could belt those notes, and they can sing to the best of them, but like they're glorifying the Lord in everything they do, which is super cool. And I love that. So talk a little bit about like, you mentioned the online campus and the Bat Cave. What does that look like? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, this is like the secret sauce of REVO. I don't think anybody really knows or appreciates how large the online campus is. We're pretty conservative with our numbers. We try not to like church number it. And so when we take the air quotes attendance of online campus, we're not doing like a times 2.5, which is what most churches do. And I think that's reasonable. That's what churches have found is that for every like number that you see on YouTube, you can safely multiply that by 2.5 and count your attendance that way. We usually just do it by the number in the corner on YouTube and Facebook. And so we average anywhere from like 70 to 80 people that are watching on YouTube and Facebook on any given Sunday. And that's without the 2.5 multiplier. So if you do the 2.5, then we're looking at an online campus of close to 200 people, which is absolutely phenomenal. And that's just watching live on a Sunday morning. That's not counting the hundreds of views that we're getting throughout the week. And so, that's a team. This is just like a really wild story. We had a very faithful family at our church who kept saying like, you guys really need a live stream. And this was back in 2019 before live streaming was cool. And through some generous donations, prayers that were prayed amongst the leadership team at REVO, they decided it's time for us to take this next step. And so in December of 2019, we did, transformations here, installs, up the lighting game, did different things to get us set up for streaming. Wow. Now, the Lord knew what was coming in March of 2020. But when we launched, our first services were December of 2019. We spent the first few months of 2020 really honing in on some of the technical issues that we discovered. And then in March of 2020, when the world shut down, churches were all scrambling, going, how are we going to live stream? And we realized, holy cow, the Lord has placed us and prepared us for this exact moment.
That is so cool.
And so our team went from a small room with one person running cameras and one person running audio to now on any given Sunday, we have 5 people, 6, 7 people dedicated just to the video team, 2 different rooms for audio and video. And every single one of those people are volunteers that were trained by the original man who helped us get set up. So it's really cool to see the faithfulness and his impact and that knowledge just getting passed down and passed around and shared. So we have everybody from like a 13-year-old middle schooler who runs cameras from time to time and does a phenomenal job to Rick Babuziak, who helps like really drive the vision of that team. And the quality, and he's always coming up with creative ideas. And so we've got everybody in between, and Rick has years of experience in the broadcast world as well. So to see like, you've got a middle schooler who's like, I want to serve, and I think the cameras are kind of cool, all the way up to Rick is like everywhere in between. People it's willing spirits. And I'm so grateful for that.
No, I love it honestly reminds me of, like stories like immediately said that I thought of like Esther for such a time as this. You were prepared for such a time as this.
So true. Man,
like you don't know what's coming in 2020, but we're going to get you set up in 2019. Like just awesome how God works. So
yeah, so cool.
Tell us for just a second, some of the stuff we've seen come out of the online campus. Cause I know some of the behind the scenes stories. Katie knows some of the behind the scenes stories, but tell us some of the behind the scenes, like awesome God moments from the online campus.
Yeah, this is what we're trying to be better about as a church, is like sharing the wins that are coming out of Sunday mornings too in the building. I mean, the Lord is moving in miraculous ways, and sometimes we're the only ones who get to hear about it. Yeah. So here's a little opportunity for us to brag on the online campus. Several years ago, actually, we had, I want to say it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, we had someone who had given their life to Jesus watching REVO online, was a faithful attender, and we did baptism, and we're pushing baptism sign-ups, and we have somebody sign up, and we're like, does anybody know who this is? Nope, nobody knows. And so then we reach out, and we're like, hey, what campus do you normally attend? She's like, I watch online. Yeah. And so this young lady drove, I think it was from South Carolina, all the way up to South Fork for the baptism service, and was baptized in a pool here at South Fork, and then after celebrating, goes back home and continues to watch online. And so there's so many stories like that where people are having their lives changed and we'll get an email. We had one lady who is now attending in person at South Fork, but watched online for a very long time. I want to say several years. Wow. And was just very faithful online, and then was convicted like, hey, I can drive and attend. And now she's leading our groups and going all in with like the local body of believers. But it all started with faithfulness online. We now have people who are in online R groups. Shout out to R groups. Bob and Susan Richardson are leading the online R group. And so we have somebody in Arizona that watches online. We've got somebody else from Florida who is joining. And then one of the cooler stories was the Abreu family. They don't know I'm going to talk about them. So if you're watching, sorry. No, they're in our group, and Juan and Geraldine and their daughters have been coming to South Fork for a while. They were baptized, and then just recently their son moved up from Florida, and he came into our group, and we were like, oh, are you new here? And he was like, yeah, but I've been watching online. And so he was watching in Florida, felt plugged in and connected to our church, so that when he moved up to Winston, he was like, well, there's no doubt where I'm going to go. Yeah. And though he's an adult, he was able to come into our group and then sit across the table from us and be like, yeah, I've seen you guys every week. And so it was one of those weird moments. I was like, whoa, like you feel like you really know all of us. And that is just really cool that every Sunday we have the opportunity to share the gospel message so much farther than the 3 campuses and the 4 walls of our church. So
that is so cool. I love the online campus. I love that and the faithfulness of watching online, and then like even the feeling convicted of like, I can drive, I can come in person, or moving, and they already feel connected, and so they come. That's really cool. And so I know I've heard you talk about it, and I know Jamie's heard about it. We've seen it, and the volunteers will travel to different campuses, right? And so if you go to like the North Campus, you'll probably see somebody on stage. It's like, who's this person? You know, like I haven't seen them before. Yeah. Or even talking about the behind the scenes, like the production team. I know there's been some people that have traveled to different campuses and just filled in spots faithfully when they needed that, when we need the help. And so talk a little bit about that and like the importance of like the volunteers doing that and kind of the cross campus serving.
Yeah. Again, I think I'm a little biased, but we are one church in 3 locations. And I don't think there's a team that embodies that more on a Sunday morning than the worship team. Every campus worship leader, so Walkertown North and South Fork, on a Sunday morning, when we kick off our rehearsals, we rehearse at 6:45 in the morning. So for all of you who think 9 a.m. or 9:30 services early, try that for call time. And not only call time, but we're all made up and ready to go. So, yeah, what we do is we pray for the other campuses. So starting off at 6:45 as we're like asking the Lord to move in a mighty way, we're mentioning North and Walkertown by name, or they're mentioning Walkertown and South Fork by name. And so even just the culture of like we're praying for each other on a Sunday morning is super special. But then, we have people who live on like, I was realizing this the other day, like, as we're scheduling and, thinking, okay, we need another instrument here, we need an extra vocalist here, or, I've got a new person on audio at a campus, and so I might send somebody to help them out. I'm asking people, and our campus worship leaders are scheduling people who might be on the far side of Pilot Mountain. K. Marie Wilson did this. And I was like, hey, K. Marie, can you come play at South Fork? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. And then that morning I realized, I'm pretty sure she just drove 45 minutes at 6 a.m. to get here on time. And sure enough, like that was pretty close to accurate. And again, like she would kill me if she knew I was going to brag on her about this, because that's their heart. Like they don't do it and they're not like, oh, I'm just so tired today. I drove so far. Like chances are if you've witnessed somebody from another campus leading worship on a Sunday morning, they've popped in, they've done their job, and then they've quietly left. They've interacted with people, they've acted part of the team, and then they've left. They haven't ever told you how far they drove to get there, how this isn't their normal place. So I just love that. The team is all about what are we going to do across all 3 campuses to worship the Lord and bring our best every week. And so that's sometimes a short-term notice. Like last week I was like, Caroline, we got a sickness. You ready to step up, girl? And then like this week we had some pieces move. And so it's just texting people being like, hey, instead of serving here, can you actually go here? And the response of our people is always, yes. Now let me figure out the other things. Like, yes, but I'm going to need childcare here. Yes. And I'm going to, do all these moving pieces and parts. So grateful for their willingness to do that. They get the vision of it, it's not just about one campus.
Yeah. And I think that's so, that's just awesome to see that they've bought into it. And I'll say this, like, I'll brag on you. You're not going to brag on yourself. I'll brag on you. Like it starts, culture set from the top down. And, it starts from you being willing to say, oh man, I'm going to go to Walkertown and I'm going to spend the next month at Walkertown playing guitar and singing and, encouraging the team over there, because I'm typically at South Fork. And so when the people, your volunteers, are seeing like, oh, Kristen's leaving and driving all the way over here, and then she's driving all the way over here. There was one Sunday that you were at North and I was coming in the North, and you're like, all right, now I got to go to Walkertown and then I'm going to pop back at South Fork. And I was like, well, I'll see you because I'm at North, but then I got to leave to go to South Fork. And just, your willingness to travel is making everybody else say, well, man, like this is the culture. Like we're here just to serve God. And if, that means I need to drive, I'll drive, because that's what it takes. So I think that's super cool. And then you really see the team mesh when it comes to things like Easter, when it comes to things like baptism, when it comes to things like our Good Friday service or even the Christmas Eve. So And we did something really cool this baptism. We talked about it a little bit. This was the first year, this past year, where we did 4 baptisms, and we did them at different campuses.
Yeah.
And so talk a little bit about how this is your chance to brag on the production team that doesn't get a lot of recognition. Like, talk about just their willingness to do it and how, what you saw from them.
Yeah, so our worship team, band-wise, is pretty used to United Services. And this is the heart. This is how you know the heart is in the right spot, because when you look at people and you're like, hey, do you want to do Sunday mornings and additional services? Yeah. And we're going to do it ×4 at different campuses where there might be some technical issues because we've never done this before. And everybody's like, rock on, sign me up. Then you're like, okay, this is for the Lord. Like, you don't ask people, because a lot of other churches will pay musicians or pay their audio guy or pay their production crew, and we're all volunteer. So for people to be like, yeah, I'm going to work my 40-hour-a-week job and then also double serve on a Sunday, like, just incredible. Yeah. Cannot give them enough credit for, and it's not what they do, it's who they do it for. That's, their hearts are in the right place. But yeah, our production team, man, executed on a high level, because what it looked like practically, this is the Monday through Friday behind the scenes that nobody sees. Like, whenever we do a United service, we come in on a Saturday morning, like a week ahead of time, and do a rehearsal. We're working out all the kinks. If we're going to a different campus that doesn't have the setup for a full band typically, then we're bringing equipment. Like, we're grabbing P16s, or for baptism, we wanted a video recording of all of them. And so what we did was we grabbed these cameras from a podcast room. We're unhooking wires. We're taking them all. We're grabbing them so then baptism day, that's Sunday afternoon. Yep. So we're like, bye everybody. Have a great week. We hope to see you at 5 p.m. at our Walkertown campus for baptism. And then we're all like, go, go, go. And somebody's down here unscrewing the cameras, and we're load it all in. Let's go. 2 p.m. call time. So people are scarfing down food in the green rooms, trying to eat between services. It's so fun to do that. But then to see that the end result, we had a lot of technical issues this year, just learning experiences. People got sick. Some different holes popped up last minute, and we were kind of like, how is this going to happen? And instead of the team being like, you know what, let's throw the towel in and just call it quits, and maybe next year we'll do a video. The video crew was like, yeah, we're going to make it work, and we're going to film it. And you know what, if in post-production we decide it doesn't work, then that's fine. But we're here, so we're going to do it. And Walkertown was a great example of that. We actually pulled in 2 people who had never run cameras before, but we knew they were at Walkertown and they had some experience. And that was how slim the team was that day, that we were like, well, we can train you really fast. And shout out to Nolan Norton, because he was the only experienced guy on the ground. And he was like, I'll show him what to do. And so he was just teaching these people right there, how to get the right shots, what to do. And this is all 2:00, doors are opening at 4:30. And there was just it was chaotic. I'm not going to lie about that. But there's also at the same time, just a calm of we trust everything's going to go well. So North Campus was the same way, packing up cameras, bringing them all there. And then just their willingness to be like, yeah, we're going to do whatever it takes to make the best possible service happen. And really what we wanted from that was the ability to share it with the people who got baptized, so then they could send a high quality video of their baptism service to their family and friends, to their lost friends who may not know Jesus. And so that's all credit to them. And then Rick did all of our editing behind the scenes to put all the pieces together and make all the magic happen. So
that's really cool. And the kind of phrase or whatever that comes to mind for me is truly everyone on the team is humble, faithful servants.
Yeah.
And it's they're humble and they do it faithfully, and they just trust that the Lord is going to work in it and work it out. And that's just it's so cool to hear about all the God moments that come up, and it's cool to see how the Lord works everything out in the chaos of it all. There's a calm, there's a peace, because they're trusting in the Lord, not themselves.
Yeah, kind of the one-liner that we use is preparation, not perfection. And so, of course, we want things to be excellent, but that starts in the preparation process. Right. And so the question is, are you prepared for a Sunday? Not are you perfect? Mistakes will happen, because we're humans. And so when a mistake happens, the question is like, okay, was it a lack of preparation, or was it just because we're human? And so, we're big on that preparation process, and that for sure, the production team especially really embodies that at those United events where it's like, hey, this is going to be a mixed bag. We've never done it before. Who's in? And everybody's like, me, sign me up. Yeah, it's great.
That's funny. Well, like, speaking of preparation, I know that y'all did a little behind the scenes like vocal workshop to prepare for like Sunday mornings and train and stuff. And so like talk a little bit about that. Why? What was it? Who came in? Who did it? Talk about that.
Yeah. So again, we're all volunteer. So that means that the majority of our vocalists have never had any sort of vocal training, voice lessons, none of it. And we don't require any of that to be on the team. And so myself included, like I had never had voice lessons until just a few years ago. And I was really like, I'd like to take this to the next level. And so got connected with an incredible voice instructor, Shannon Pinkston. So shout out to Shannon. She is doing group lessons and workshops. She calls them like a vocalist master class. And it's more than just vocals because she's a strong believer. Her and her husband serve at a church in Alabama. And so it's more than just how do you sing and how do you sing well, but it is how do you lead worship. And that was what I love the most about Shannon and Jordan being able to come and lead for us was that their heart was never just like, let me teach you how to do this vocal warm up and be able to hit the highest note possible. From the very beginning, it was, this is God's design for your voice, and we want to work with the creator to get the best sound possible. And so I just really loved her heart. But we were able to bring her in, and funny enough, we were supposed to have her come at the end of July, and they had some wild stuff happen in their family. Their childcare fell through anyway, and so she decided to do a virtual option in July. And then she actually came in person in September. And so I was like, I'm not mad about a 2-for-1. Like, that's great. Like, we will absolutely reschedule. So the team got to benefit from their knowledge and their wisdom 2 different times. And we opened it up to community churches and invited any church in the area that we had email addresses for their worship leader. I was reaching out to everybody. I was like, come on, it's free. Like, just come participate. And so we had some people from 2 cities that came, and then Definition Church in Greensboro sent some people, and Awake Church had some people that came along too. So we got to benefit other local churches in the area through the event, which was really cool. But just a real anointed time where she was talking to us, gave very practical advice about what to do in preparation for a Sunday morning. But what's the best is I think most everybody was the most impacted by the spiritual time where they talked about like the offering that you're giving the Lord when you prepare, when you train, when you commit to growing your voice, and then also the ability to present that offering to the Lord and then not like second guess it and be like, oh no, that was not enough. So to be able to walk away from that and be like, okay, Lord, there it is. Like, it's yours. Do with it what you will. And so that's been something that's really impacted our team and seen a ton of growth from that just since September. So if you had a local worship leader at your campus and you thought, man, something sounds different, you can go tell them. It's not going to hurt their feelings. They'll be like, yes, that's great. I'm so glad. They're preparing differently, prepping differently. Just this past Sunday, I told Caroline, I was like, I heard it. You did the thing that she told Maddie to do in Holy Forever. And she was like, good. I'm so glad you noticed. I was working so hard on it. So the results are because of that investment, which is so fun.
I love that.
I think that's so cool. That was something, man, I'm big on like, hey, let's train our people, right? Like you said, it's not, we're not striving for perfection, but we're striving for preparedness. And I think that's such a huge key, because you can't, we want to execute everything with excellence, right? We serve a God who is excellent. He is perfect, and we are called to strive to be perfect as he is perfect, be holy as he is holy. And part of that comes with our worship, right? Yeah. It comes with the quality that we put online. That comes with everything that we do. We should be striving to do it with our best. So I love that. But man, as we're about to close, I would love for you to just kind of tell us like, what's next when it comes to the worship team? Like what's the future hold? Like what are you, what are you seeking for? Why should people be involved in worship?
Yeah, man, worship as believers is foundational.
Yeah.
And worship is not just music, but in this context, we are talking about music. Over and over and over in scripture, we're told to sing. And what I love the most about the Bible is it does have Psalm 33, where it tells us to play skillfully for the Lord and sing skillfully to the Lord. But almost everywhere else, it says just make a shout of joy. Like just make a joyful noise.
Me.
It doesn't have to be good. It's just a joyful noise. And so we should all care about worship because the Lord tells us to worship and he's so worthy of it. But specifically for the worship team, I'll let you guys in. I was thinking, I'm like, do I share this? Do I not? But then I thought, I think some people don't know what we're looking for. And so I just want to share, like, these are the things specifically that I'm praying for. I'm praying for more drummers. So if you're a drummer and you're sitting on the sidelines because you're like South Fork has a drummer. Yeah, we've got 2 and they're faithful to do every other week, but we would love to be able to send drummers to other campuses when they don't have one. Also, sometimes I think we get a little glazed over by the people on the stage, and you might not realize, like, there are people on our team who have served every Sunday because they're the only instrument. They're willing, they love it, but they would love to have another electric guitar player or another piano player with them. Again, they might still continue to serve, but they could go to another campus, talking about us rotating. So I'm always praying for drummers, piano players specifically is another one I've been praying for, male vocalist, men who sing that aren't Jamie. No, just kidding. Love you, Jamie. No, but male vocalists, like, seriously, that's a prayer of mine. Bass players, that's a prayer of mine. So those are specific, like, people on stage that I am praying that the Lord would give us those skilled positions. Unfortunately, I can't teach someone to be a drummer overnight, or else I would have done that already. So praying for those specific positions. In production, we're praying for more. So if you're interested, if you just want to come see what it is on a Sunday morning, you can do that. Any Sunday morning, we're here. I heard somebody joke one time that they were like, our call time is 6 a.m. And they were like, I didn't even know the church opens that early. And I was like, oh yeah, we're here. We're here at 6:30 in the morning at all of our locations. And so anytime you want to pop behind the booth and just see what's going on, we would love the opportunity to tell you more about joining that team as well. And so for production, it's the same thing. If you have skill, if you've worked in the professional world, like, we would love to connect with you on that, and just see, like, maybe the Lord has a spot for you on the team. Maybe you can take more of a mentorship role. But yeah, that's something specifically that we're praying for. And then how to get involved, we'll throw up a QR code here and you can scan it and go see we have an interest form for auditions or joining the production team. And then we'll reach out and get in touch with you and give you the next steps moving forward. But yeah, the process for auditions is always open. We're open to auditioning anyone at any time if you fit the qualifications that we talked about. Got to love the Lord, got to buy into what we're all about here, which is worshiping Jesus. But yeah, there's never a time where I'm like, you know what, we're actually good. We have plenty of female vocalists. If you're a girl who sings, don't hear me say I don't need you. That is not what I said. I said specifically I'm praying for men. But if you're a girl who's got a gift, come on, like, join the team. Come join the Dixie Chicks. We love our all-female teams on Sunday mornings.
I love that.
Oh, that's
Man,
funny.
I want to challenge people that are watching this. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10 said, as each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. Whoever speaks is one who speaks oracles of God. Whoever serves is one who serves by the strength that God supplies, in order that in everything God may be glorified through Jesus Christ. To him belong glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. I know some people that attend South Fork, that attend Walkertown, that attend North Campus, that have skills to play instruments.
Yes.
I know men that can sing.
Amen.
Use your gifts. Peter said, as each has received a gift, use it to serve as good stewards. Be a good steward of your gift, not just a good sounding member in the congregation. Like, let's use our gifts to glorify God, because like Christen said from the beginning, that's the goal of the worship team.
Yeah.
It's not a look at us and how good we are. She said their mission is to worship by the power of the Spirit to the glory of the Father. Yeah. So man, use your gifts as God's calling you.
And I know, like, it can be scary. I wouldn't want to be on stage. Praise God, I can't sing, so I don't have to be on stage. But it's like, I know it's scary, but as kindly as I can say this, it's not about us. It's not about
Absolutely
you. It's about the fact that you have a gift and the Lord gave it to you specifically. And I just want to encourage you to be obedient to that calling, and to use that gift, just as Jamie said, because he will bless it time and time again when you use your gifts for the glory of God. So yeah, I just encourage you to reach out and sign up.
There's a beautiful image that I was given earlier this year of, like, when you pray for a kid, for those mamas out there, when you're praying for the baby that's in your belly, you're going, praying for very specific gifts. And the image that the Lord gave me as I was, like, looking at my 2 children that are 4 and 2, watching them walk around, and I was thinking, like, there's specific gifts that I prayed for in them that I've seen the Lord say yes to. And it's so kind. But the image that God gave me was, like, as he's creating you, if we believe he knits us together, which is how the psalmist describes it, then that means as he's creating you, he's picking out the verse that you just read. He's giving you a specific gift. There's a gift that Jamie has that no one else has. Right. They might have the same, like, big, large category of gift, but nobody's going to carry that the way you do with your life experience into the same places. So it's that whole idea, that there are good works that the Lord has planned for you before the dawn of creation. And some of you have that gift for music, for production, photographers, videographers. Like, that is a skill set that requires an eye that not everybody has. And so it's that Colossians verse, like, everything that we do, we're working heartily as working for the Lord and not for men. But I also just want to encourage you, like Katie said, if it feels a little scary, think about how loving and how kind and how tender it is that as the Lord was knitting you together, he thought, I'm going to give her a voice. I'm going to give him the ability to play an instrument. I'm going to give, him the ability to just pick up any instrument and play it, or to be able to understand music theory. Like, that's a gift from the Lord that ultimately he wants to be used for his glory. So I'm tripling down on the if you have a gift, it's so fun to use it for his glory. It's so fun. We could be doing, we could be playing music anywhere, but there is nowhere that will fill you up and make you feel just so filled with purpose as when you're using your gift to honor and glorify the creator who gave it to you. So we're going to mic drop on that. How about that?
Amen.
I think that's great.
So sign up for the worship team, for the production team.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on and talking about it.
Thanks for having me.
Worship is just, it's a joy. It's an honor. It's a privilege that we get to partake in. And so, man, I love it. I love the team. I love the production team. I love everyone that's doing that. But hey, most importantly, I appreciate you guys for watching the podcast, listening to us share our heart behind the worship team. And, like we said, we challenge you. If you have skills or abilities, if God gave you a gift, let's use it for the glory of God. But this has been the REVO Church podcast. We'll see you in the next episode.
See ya.